start window.
Or not.
Hello to all you Patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 204 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, the #1 live podcast in Canada. We're recording on November 25th, 2019.
Hi, I'm Dave, competitive shooter, match director, and all-around fun guy.
Marty, hunter and sport shooter, rural Southern Ontario.
My name is E. Shooter, builder and hobby farmer on Vancouver Island.
I'm Gavin. Hey, what's up?
As always, my name is Andrew. I'll be your host. I'm a recovering libertarian, a competitive shooter, and a firearms instructor at Ragnarok Tactical. We'd love to hear your feedback about the show and Gavin's new, much less verbose intro. Please visit Canadian Patriot Podcast. Wow, almost got it. Please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback, or you can email us feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. You can find the show on the Stitcher and the iTunes. I still haven't figured out how to make Spotify work. It's on the to-do list.
All right. As always, you can check out the podcast at facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast and instagram.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast.
And we need your help. To support the show, visit patreon.com/CPP and become a Patreon. You can get a better quality version of the show for just $1 per episode. The more you pledge, the better the rewards are. Show you're not a communist. Buy a CPP t-shirt for just $19.99 plus shipping and theft. Visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com homepage and follow the link on the right. And now, the best part of the show.
Yeah, it is. The segment is, what are you drinking? This is where I ask everyone, what are you drinking? And we're going to start with Dave.
I'm sorry, but I'm really lame today. I'm on my water. I had lots of post-match beers over the weekend, so I'm trying to be a good boy now.
Yeah, I understand. I had 4 liters of water every day this weekend and again today. That doesn't stop me from drinking rye. Ian, what are you drinking?
Unfortunately, duty calls again, green tea, despite the suggestions from last episode.
All right,
Boo.
I guess we'll allow it since it's work-related. Somebody's got to help pay for Quebec.
That's right.
Gavin, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Jack and Coke Zero this evening.
And Marty, what are you drinking?
Oba and a water.
Wait, what? You're drinking scotch?
It's
Again,
time
yeah.
for his yearly glass of scotch to remind himself he doesn't like it.
Why do you still try to drink scotch? Just give me the Oban. Put the Oban down and walk away.
The Oban is the only one I have. I actually have other ones I should give you, but I have Oban is the only one that I can actually drink.
Okay, well,
But it's a useful alcohol for when you drink for the podcast, but when you have to get up for an early meeting in the morning.
Helps moderate.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
Doesn't want to smell like whiskey
Well-
in the
well,
meeting,
no,
I guess.
So he doesn't
No,
need to be a pussy like Dave and not drink, but he's not going to get hammered like the rest of.
Well, I mean, the rest of
Gavin
us
gets
is
it.
Gavin and I, but, you know, whichever. Potato, glass of vodka, same thing, really.
Yeah.
I think so. The only other thing we should talk about with this is NZ Claybuster on YouTube is drinking. Oh God, the YouTube comments moved. Where did it go? Bamboo rum.
Bamboo rum.
Bamboo rum.
Bamboo. Bamboo.
That's what he's got written.
I think
I
I
don't
know who that listener is then.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, no, it's one of the oldest rums I believe out there. It's from Barbados, is it not?
All right.
Okay, which
We'll
is
look up.
is it bamboo or bamboo?
Bamboo. It's got a big X
that's
on the
the-
bottle.
That's the actual correct way. That's not just like
You fucked it
not
up.
just
No,
typed
that's the-
incorrectly.
That's the correct
Yeah.
way. It's got a big
Okay.
glass bottle with a big X on it.
Well, I like when I do a Google image search. Yes, there's those, but there's also one that has a Motorhead logo on it. So I'm curious to find out what that is and how I get Motorhead rum.
10 out of 10 would drink Motorhead rum.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
All
would
hell
try.
Lemmy.
Would definitely try.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk about shooting first, and then we'll talk about the news, in which we will probably talk about shootings, but that is different.
Yeah.
So a number of the panelists this evening were at the last Op Missile, the Ontario Practical Multigun Shooting League match.
Yeah.
I guess Gavin or Dave, would you like to regale us with your tales of Op Missile?
Yeah, I showed up on Friday. It wasn't raining. It was a bit cold, but for once we pretty much had the whole match set up on Friday. There wasn't a panic like there usually is on Saturday morning, so that was good. And
Yeah.
the weather on Saturday was phenomenal. Basically, it was blue skies. Things like everybody says, probably a little chilly, but probably the best weather we've had for an Op Missile match this year. So hopefully, it's signs of good weather to come for next year's matches. And and it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, kudos to Marty for coming and helping set up, but not shooting the match. That was appreciated. Managed to get most of that
Yeah,
set up
unfortunately, I couldn't be there on
before.
the Saturday, but
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, you came for the stuff that was a pain in the ass and missed out on the fun part. So that kind of sucks. But your
That is
help
true.
was muchly appreciated. And yeah, like
Man
Dave
among
said, I
men.
think the match ran well, except for Better Andrew's trigger.
Poor better Andrew. Yeah, that was
and
unfortunate.
He brought
I've
a
never
spare
seen
upper,
such a
but
thing.
not a spare lower or trigger. So that
Yeah,
plan
and
backfired on him.
I don't want to drop the brand, but it was a quality trigger too. It was pretty surprising.
Well, we'll see what they do about it, and depending
Yeah.
on what happens, there may be some brand dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I expect good things from them. I assume they're going to help them out. I've had good experiences, so.
I've always heard with them, it's if it hasn't broken yet, it will. About that brand.
Oh, well, that's not confidence inspiring.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make me feel good at all.
No.
But I have one in one of mine, and I actually really like the trigger.
Yeah, like I have it in my PR gun and my service rifle gun, and the nicest trigger I've ever pulled.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how great they are for reliability yet. We'll see.
How was your match, Andrew?
Not great. One mag in, and the squib problem has returned to haunt me. So,
Was it that quick?
yeah, I literally shot one mag, and then the gun went boop, and I was like, "Well, that's the end of that." All right, good.
So yours was even worse than Kerr's. Kerr's got a stage in.
Well, I could have pulled the projectile out and carried on, or I could have switched to the other Glock that I had with me, but like, it was more of a, well, this ammo is now all questionable.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna pull
And
it
I
all?
thought- Yep.
Damn.
I thought I had solved my mysterious squib problem from last year, and I guess I don't know, something. So I took the press apart and cleaned and degreased the powder measure and put it all back together and recalibrated it and loaded 200 rounds for service pistol for Sunday and
Not a problem.
shot all 200 rounds without any issues.
How much
That
do
shot
you
quite
have
well.
loaded up of questionable?
Somewhere between 300 and 3,000.
Oh, I wouldn't bother pulling that. Just shoot as practice ammo.
Well, I don't know. I think I'm gonna do the 300.
Can you not weigh them?
Specifically? I don't know, because it's only 4 grains of powder. It may be within the, I don't know, maybe, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Maybe worth a shot. You
I don't
find
know. So I've got the segregated pistol ammo that I loaded specifically for this match that I'm probably just gonna pull and see if there's something like wonky with it.
Was it
And then I
last
have-
year that you went to a training course with questionable ammo?
Yes, it was. That's where I have the
Right.
other 1,000 rounds of questionable ammo. There's over 1,000 rounds that I have from that loading that's practice ammo that I'm afraid to use.
it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
Well, on the upside,
Still, if somebody
shout
would
out to X Metal Targets or X Reload, I guess. Same difference. I ordered a Hornady bullet, call it bullet puller today. It's supposed to be here by the end of the week. So
Oh, is that the one that like goes in the tool head?
yeah,
Those
I've
are
been using
fancy.
kinetic puller. So I figured this way because the kinetic puller throws powder everywhere.
Yeah, I know they're a freaking
Mhm.
nightmare.
So I figured in like if I take it apart and it's good, I can just put it back together again. But if I take it apart and it's empty, then I found the problem rounds.
But yeah, on the whole, Op Missile was good. Everybody helped break
Yeah.
down. I had fun in the match.
I guess
Finish.
while we're talking good things, we should probably give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Dean at Select Shooting. And then obviously our gold level
hell yeah.
sponsors, Firearms Outlet Canada, Tactical Products Canada, and of course, Ragnarok Tactical. Support them all because they support the shooting sport.
Mhm.
Especially Ragnarok
Yeah.
Tactical.
Yes, especially that one. I'm partial to
Yes.
that one.
Yes. We
They
appreciate
also
every
sponsor.
shekel you give us.
They also sponsored the service pistol match.
The sponsored is a strong word for the service pistol match, but I mean, I
We-
brought
we-
the band.
we were there.
Sweat equity is a thing. Yeah.
That also went great. I was really happy with my my new Sig 320. It's shooting better than expected. Finished second place in the irons division, and
So
brand new to me.
Well,
That's
Presumably, nobody has heard of service pistol. Why don't you do?
yeah, I
like
was just
a-
going to ask Dave if he
Okay.
maybe wants to explain what service
Sure.
pistol is.
basically you're at a common firing line with other competitors. You usually have two targets. In this case, we're using two IDPA targets, and then we were putting a circle in the, I guess, A zone. I don't know what you call it on the IDPA target. The
Down
neutralization.
zone.
Yeah. So we're putting a smaller circle there. That's our like bullseye, and it's different courses of fire. Usually shot. You only need 2 mags to do service pistol. So we were doing.
3 mags. You need 3 mags to service pistol.
Oh yeah, 3 mags. True. Five is best, but 3 minimum. But for any course of fire, and basically it's just a set of matches. So like one match, we had to shoot 10 shots. You get 2 seconds to shoot 1 shot all weak hand, and then do that again all strong hand. And then another one, it was 15 seconds, shoot 6 shots on the one target, do a reload, 6 shots on the other target, and basically kind of carries on like that. And then we also finished it off with the FBI qualification, which was 25 yards, 10 rounds. And then we moved up to 15 and shot, what was it? It was 5 mags. No, sorry, 4 mags of 5. That's what it was. And that was, how many seconds was that one, Andrew? 6 or 10? I can't remember.
No, 15 and 10. It's 2.
15 and 10. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Each. And
But it's basically-
safe to say that service pistol is very much a focusing on the fundamentals and accuracy because you're given a finite number of rounds and a finite amount of time to do it in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a contest of accuracy, not of problem solving, not of movement, not really of other shooting skills. There is a stage with a reload on the clock, but reloading is not like a core competency for service pistol. It's not something you have to do like during every stage. And there's no drawing of hot handguns from holsters. It's very much like bullseye shooting.
Yeah, like all the matches start from the like alert ready, like up top, right? Or the high ready.
And
Once
the
you're
time
loaded.
constraints don't seem too aggressive. Like it seems like you have plenty of time to get.
Yeah,
your
they're
shots off.
pretty reasonable. Yeah, they're pretty reasonable.
Yeah, the only stage that I find is fast is firing 2 shots within 2 seconds from when the whistle starts, and that's mostly the reaction time, not the split on the shots.
The other one that was
But
hard too.
more or less difficult than blowing the whistle for 2 seconds solid.
Blowing the whistle for 2 seconds, speaking from experience, is very difficult.
Yeah, the other one was
Get,
that
like,
was hard
a
though too.
second
It's,
and a half.
was 6 seconds to shoot 4 shots total, 2 with your strong hand, and then transition to your weak hand and shoot another 2 shots at the other target. That was quite difficult, just because. Well, I mean, for me, honestly, who practices their 2-handed weak hand shooting? I mean, a lot of people practice weak hand only, but I didn't even know what to do with my strong hand when I transitioned the pistol over to the weak hand. It's just like kind of there.
Do you have to use your strong hand? Like, can you
Well,
just shoot it weak hand only?
Yeah, I guess you could, but I don't really. I don't know. I mean, I would assume that you would be able, because you have to get 2 shots, not just one. I would assume you'd want to have your second hand there to be able to keep, get better muzzle control as opposed to like no control at all with just one hand, right?
I'll be honest, there was a lot of rounds that I fired where my strong hand was mostly just there for the ride. It wasn't really doing its job.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
something was
see
better than
myself,
nothing.
like, especially in a situation like that where I've not tried it, I would definitely have taken the option of just shooting it weak hand only and having it recoil in a way that I know is going to happen.
Instead of having your dominant hand just probably doing more harm than good, most likely. Might be worth a try.
Yeah.
Might be worth a try.
So I guess the impetus for this is Service Pistol is part of the National Service Conditions Course of Fire at the annual National Service Conditions matches at the Dominion of Canada Rifle Association at Connaught Ranges in Ottawa, to which Dave and I are planning to attend all 3 service conditions events this year: Service Pistol, Service Rifle, and Precision Rifle. The politically incorrect sniper matches.
So we would get the there's a trophy for doing all 3, like the 3-gun trophy. So that's the eye on the prize.
That's right. That trophy will
Just
be
in case
mine, and
anyone
it's going to look.
in case anyone's not familiar with the whole nomenclature of a DCRA, when they're talking about matches, those are like, you would kind of traditionally think of them as a stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was IPSC, a match with a DCRA event is a stage with regular shooting events. The set course of fire with a set timing and round count and a set type of targetry that doesn't change because it's very repeatable, and you can compare time over time as you make equipment changes or you improving your skills if you're getting better or worse, because it's like always shooting classifiers in IPSC. The classifier is always the same. So you have a point of reference.
It's a very good analogy. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It was a good weekend. It was a good start, and we worked out most of the bugs for the Service Pistol matches. So looking forward to the next one.
In an unsurprising turn of events, most of the bugs are actually just issues with the rule book where things are missing, absent, or wrong.
Written completely wrong.
Sounds exactly like the military.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit. When the rule book is written in Comic Sans, you already start to wonder.
But that was the default.
Good. Yeah, I guess the tangent from that is we're going to be incorporating Service Pistol into the Ontario Rifle Association CQB program this year, because it's likely going to be my pleasure to continue running the CQB program for the province. So I'm going to add another 150 rounds to your weekend and tell you you're shooting Service Pistol too.
And you're going to like it.
Or not, I don't care.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could go home, I guess, but I mean,
we're doing
hell
Service Pistol, so everyone else can shoot it with us.
yeah, I mean, it's just good practice for CQB as well. So I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know.
Like, one of the matches is almost identical. The body armor drill match is almost the exact same in both CQB and in Service Pistol.
Yeah, 100%, 110%. So I think I think we'll get a lot of the CQB's funnel, transitioning over to that and staying, without a doubt.
A lot of competitors complaining at matches that there's not enough stages that are identical. They like shooting a match where all of the stages are exactly the same. That makes for a super fun and interesting day.
Like I said, it's not for problem solving. It's a contest of accuracy. If you come to Service Pistol and you shoot a perfect score, then you can complain about Service Pistol not being challenging enough. But until you break 600, shut up and sit down.
It's the interest.
I don't know, man.
It's like bullseye shooting, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Exactly.
It's like 170 rounds or 150, 150-ish approximately rounds.
It's not for everybody. It's not
Yeah.
IPSC, and I get that. And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's part of the appeal is it's not IPSC. But the other thing is like, if it's such a simple and boring thing, why is no one going to nationals and winning?
I think, well, I don't think anybody is particularly care.
Right. So that's perfect. That's less people I have to compete with at nationals to get the trophy for 3-gun.
Yeah, all the crazy like jersey wearing people are not there. It's fantastic.
Like there's probably a bullseye nationals as well that people are not really paying attention to either.
I wouldn't know. I don't shoot bullseye. That shit's boring. I'm kidding. Bullseye, I like shooting bullseye, but that's just because I'm actually 90 and I'm just stuck in a 30-year-old body.
They do get to go to Australia and Bisley and all that, so you know, can be fun.
Shall we move into some news?
I
Sure.
think we shall. Let's
All right,
do.
let's go to British Columbia. This is on Global News. BC government looking into fines for people who engage in racist behavior. In what I can only describe as an unsurprising turn of event, an NDP candidate, is petitioning the government to look into ways to crack down on racist and hateful behavior by issuing fines. Fuck your freedom of speech.
Surprised Jordan Peterson hasn't spoken up about this. It's like everything he was talking about all over again with them
Yeah,
trying to control speech.
This guy, man.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know where to even go further with this because they're worried about groups like the Sons of Odin because they get accused of being racist, but they go and like volunteer at soup kitchens and food banks and do park cleanup days. And also,
yeah, but, I mean,
yellow vest
they're only
protesters.
helping the white food banks, not, you know.
yeah.
I mean, I guess, but like, also, is the yellow vest thing still a thing? Was it ever a thing in this country?
I don't
I
really
mean, I
think
guess
so.
for the guys
thought-
that stand at the side of the road holding the stop signs and the go slow signs, it's a real thing. But yeah, in terms of a movement, it's a joke.
It was a
even in
Facebook
France,
group.
they're not really protesting anymore. That was the whole impetus for that whole movement. I don't know that
Yeah, what
because
happened
people
in France?
don't want to pay for high gas taxes because their government is ridiculous. They protested like every week for like 12 straight weeks through the summer, and then the president of France, what is Macron's title?
President?
He's premier, isn't he?
I don't understand
Or
French
sorry,
parliamentary
prime minister.
democracy, but Emmanuel Macron, who is leading their government, was all like, okay, well, I guess we'll defer the taxes. And the people of France went back to whatever it was they were doing before.
Paying lots of taxes on other stuff.
Yeah, right. Like that's the. I don't really know about this whole yellow vest movement in Canada. I don't think that's a real thing. But I guess the yellow vest movement in Canada and the Sons of Odin, 6 guys dressed up like wannabe bikers working at the food bank. I guess that's a scary thing and they should be fined. I'm not really. I don't know what this commie's up to, but I'm sure it's no good.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is we all know, like, if they do manage to get this through and everything, like, it's not going to be a thing. So, you know, certain groups of people are going to get away with saying and doing the things that they're not supposed to, while other groups are going to be penalized for doing all of the things, even though it may not necessarily even be racist.
Well, and this is kind of my concern is that it's racist and hateful behavior. Like by what standard?
Yeah.
Again, who's judging? Is it just going to be a system of tattletaling? Like he said that, I have him. I don't know.
Well, and someone, presumably by law or police agencies, are going to have to issue citations and tickets with fines on them because who else is going to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And a bylaw. You think a bylaw officer wants to get in the middle of that? Of potentially.
Well, and for what? Like, we're gonna fine this guy $200 for using a racial slur.
Mhm.
That's going to stop them from using racial slurs. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is some made up nonsense. I feel like there's some commies in BC that are trying to get money from people that they have political disagreement with.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't even know how they're going to enforce this. It seems just ridiculous.
Speaking of ridiculous,
Hmm?
someone call the cops on Justin Trudeau's public safety minister pick. This is in Vice, and it's atrocious, but let's try it. So everybody remembers we recently had an election. Everybody remembers that as a result, we're getting a cabinet shuffle.
Yay.
Everybody remembers Bill Blair. He was, not so long ago, the chief of the Toronto Police.
Can't really forget that punchable face.
It does kind of look like somebody's already smacked him. He's got kind of that Jean Chrétien look going, right?
Yeah, in that picture, yeah.
So he's been the czar of border security for the last couple of years.
Well, he was the pot czar first, and then the czar of border security.
And now he's going to be the czar of what?
More nothing.
No, he's the minister of public safety.
Yes. So he can continue his anti-gun rants.
Even though he
So
doesn't know what he's
Vice is
talking
all
about.
mad because they're clapping back to the G20 summits years ago in 2010 when Blair was then the police chief, and they kettled thousands of protesters and put them in camps and strip searched them and allegedly violated lots of charter rights. Allegedly.
You voted for him.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really. The article makes a lot to do about nothing. This is what happens. Good ale was neither good nor ale, as Tim is fond of reminding us.
But I mean, like, where was this article at the last election when he was put into a cabinet position? I mean,
Yeah. He was just as guilty then.
or just elected as an MP in general.
Well, I mean, he is from a Scarborough riding. It's not like the voting populace of the GTA has a say over whether or not he's involved in the government.
No, but I mean, this is the problem, right? Like, so, I mean, they're talking about his, behavior from however long ago, and now it's a problem now that he's been, re-elected and put into a different cabinet position. If they were pissed off at him because of that behavior, he should be in government now. Like, where was this article when he was originally elected, or even originally running for government? I mean, I'm all for Vice speaking out against shitty leftist politicians because that's not their. But it just seems that it's like at least 4 years too late.
Yeah, I don't really understand what Vice is getting at here. Like, you guys are left-leaning organization. This is a left-leaning politician. Like, this is what you voted for. This is what happens, Larry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You asked for him.
Yeah. You want garbage ministers? This is how you get garbage ministers.
Yep.
Let's
And,
move
not
on
looking
to
forward to
CBC. Let's move on to a CBC article that we've got. CN strike causing emergency shortages in Quebec's propane supply. So I guess for anybody in podcast land that's not aware, Canadian National Railway is having a labor dispute with one of their trade unions that operates rail system in this country. As a result, refined petrochemical products like propane, liquid natural gas, are not making it to Quebec from the western provinces. Now there's a propane shortage.
Which I find hilarious.
Yeah, suck it, Quebec.
Yeah. Suck it long.
I mean,
suck it hard.
Yes, suck at Quebec, but also that sucks for like the people in Quebec, particularly people like farmers and employers.
The people
in
that
industry.
didn't vote for this.
Yeah, 100%.
Agreed.
It I mean, yes, suck at Quebec, like big Quebec, but also like for the individual people in Quebec that are being hurt by this is stupid because we're relying on a labor union that I'm not even honestly sure what the complaint is that the Teamsters have against CN right now. Probably that they're not getting paid enough, and probably not they don't get enough vacation time.
I heard something about
I
safety.
also imagine that they probably get paid fairly well.
Yeah, something to do with safety. I think I read somewhere, but not exactly sure what.
If only there was some other way than the rail system to move liquefied natural gas from the western provinces to the eastern provinces. If only there was some marvel of engineering where you could do that without the Teamsters Union being involved.
Does it start with a pie and end with a line?
Man, I wish there was a pie line.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Some sort
I'm
of
definitely standing
pipeline.
the pie line.
Yeah,
Oh no, pie line.
that sounds like Thanksgiving and Christmas. Lots of pie.
Or a communist country where you've got to line up for everything. Although, unfortunately, there's never any pie, just shitty bread. And even then, there's not any.
But yes.
So the government of Quebec has decided that they're going to ration their propane reserves that they have, putting it towards primarily Quebec Health, but we'll see what that helps.
Yeah, your Saudi oil can't save you now, Trudeau.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't transport liquefied natural gas on
Yeah, well, that's the
ocean-going
thing.
vessels,
I was-
right?
I was
That's the
Well, yeah, like the crude that you get from Saudi, it doesn't turn into those fuels. The stuff you get from Alberta is what turns into those fuels, the natural gas and the propane. So right now, Alberta's laughing hysterically.
yeah. Good luck,
No,
Quebec.
they have their
Remember,
own issues with this rail. I mean, their farmers similarly are having issues with this rail line being out of border.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to affect the whole country, not just Alberta and Quebec. It's going to affect Ontario as well. Like all the manufacturing, cars, like all that stuff's moved by rail across the country, not truck. The trucks just do the final delivery type stuff.
don't worry. I have good news on this front. The Communist Party, I mean the NDP, are warning that they may support a special law in the National Assembly, the Quebec Parliament, the National Assembly, to force the unionized employees back to work. That's right. The union that encouraged their members to vote for the NDP is now going to turn their back on those union members and force them back to work. Congratulations, you've just communist yourself.
Put a big stamp of the meme right on them.
Yeah, well, like, do you want shitty government? This is how you get shitty government.
This is what happens when you vote shitty governments in. They don't get anything done, and then shit like this happens.
Thanks for voting for us. Thanks for making all of your members vote for us. P.S. We're going to ignore your labor dispute and tell you all to get back to work because it's cold in Quebec and we need the propane.
Yeah.
Chew.
There is some sort of poetic justice with that the NDP is going to legislate union employees back to work. I enjoy how that's going to work out. That's fun.
The irony of it all.
It's delicious. It is almost as tasty as the pie line.
I want to talk to the guy that was pushing that not the NDP, but the union heads that were doing that whole campaign before the election about, you can't vote conservative because,
They're
they
going to
suck.
take our gerbs. Our
Yeah.
gerbs.
And now they're going to get screwed.
Let's continue to shit on Quebec.
Agreed.
Another CBC article. 100 municipalities discharge sewage into Quebec waterways.
Dolores.
God, this province is terrible.
Worst province ever.
So we talked about this, 2 years ago? Montreal was pumping raw sewage into the St. Lawrence River. it turns out there's like 100 other countries, 100 other municipalities, mostly along the St. Lawrence River,
Or the
pumping
Ottawa
raw
River Basin.
sewage. Yep. There's some up like further north of Ottawa. I'm not sure what that part of Quebec is. It's getting up like, northern Ontario-ish.
Yeah.
There's some up there, but the majority of them are between Montreal and Quebec and along the St. Lawrence. So that entertains me.
But you got to keep our waterways clean.
Pipeline's bad. Pumping raw sewage into lakes or pumping raw sewage into rivers, perfectly acceptable.
Pipelines for pumping raw sewage into the lakes to turn it shit brown, totally fine.
Wood burning fireplaces, bad and illegal, but you can dump raw sewage.
Yeah.
All the poo-poo in the St. Lawrence. Good job, Quebec. You're really showing us the way on that one. You guys are so noble with your green standards.
You guys remember a couple of years ago, people were complaining that Harper ended. There was like, it wasn't called like the Clean Waterways Act, but it was like the Clean Waterways Act. And the conservative government repealed an act that made it so the federal government was no longer responsible for controlling what got put into rivers and lakes. And the eco commies were all
fault.
It is definitely Harper's fault. The eco commies were all super mad about this at the time because they're like, people are just going to dump raw sewage into the water. And yeah, now the municipalities are doing it. It's like, good job. Because the federal government stopped telling you can't do this. The municipal governments are like, well, we're just not going to treat wastewater anymore. Fuck it.
Shit's expensive. Fuck that. Need to put this money in my pocket.
So, I mean, I'm not one for big government, but I mean,
that's one of those things. It's kind of like an essential service sort of thing. Clean water, cleaning the waterways.
It kind of is. And I mean, I don't want more government, and there's not a lot of situations where I want more government, but like saving the environment is one of those things that I can support. I mean, like in an actual, like,
obvious way.
Let's not dump raw sewage into the water. Like that sort of like, I don't mean like environmentally friendly, like let's drive stupid Tesla trucks and build windmills. I mean, like, let's not dump raw sewage into rivers.
We kind of already know how to fix this. We have the technology for it.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Yeah, we just ship it to the Philippines.
Oh, yeah, true.
I'd rather we didn't do that either.
Yeah, that dude kind of scares me because he's serious. Like, that dude means business.
Yeah, get your shit out of my shit.
Well, I feel like this is Rag on Quebec Day, but let's do another one.
Oh, it never gets tiring. I could do this all night.
Yeah, great fishing in Quebec.
I wonder if we could sneak a bunch of weed into one of those containers that Trudeau sends over there, and then make the argument that he's now a drug dealer.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
I mean,
that can be arranged.
I'm on board this the same way that Chilean dictators are on board helicopters.
Yeah.
And get you the sea can and the marijuana. Maybe. Allegedly.
I'm sure we could find somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We must know a guy.
Yeah.
Let's go to CTV News. $1,500 payout over drinking fountains with English language buttons. So a federal court has ordered the Senate to pay a Montreal man $1,500 in compensation after he complained that his language rights were violated by the drinking fountains on Parliament Hill.
Spit on your language rights. I spit on them.
So, like, there's only the one button. Like,
yes,
we
but
could have just put
push,
nothing on it. Like, if it was just flat with no engraving on it, you'd figure out that that's the one that you push to get the water.
Yeah.
I mean, a dog can usually a dog can figure these out.
So if I go somewhere and like it's only in French, can I sue because my language rights have been violated?
No.
That's a good
I'll
question.
read the charter again. It's minority language rights. It only applies to Quebec. French speakers. Pardon
But I
me.
am a minority in Quebec.
So, like,
Yeah.
No,
if there
that's
was
not how
a
that
door,
works.
Go on, Marty.
would you just stand there and pretend that, like, you can't figure out how the door works?
No, you would sue the federal government.
Yeah.
You can go back on that
Like-
pogey for the rest of the month.
This is a pretty well standard commercial drinking fountain that you've seen all your life. It has the button in the same spot that the button always is. I feel like we can figure this out. Maybe you have to ask someone.
Apparently
I feel
not
like
in
you can-
Quebec.
Well, this wasn't. Was this in the Quebec Senate? This was in Ottawa, wasn't it?
No, this was in Ottawa at this is
Yeah,
the federal
Jesus.
Senate. This was on Parliament, like on Parliament Hill.
Jesus.
Way to go, Trudeau. Dropped the ball on that one, didn't you?
It's probably Harper that installed that water fountain. At least that's what they're going to say.
Oh, of course. It was yeah, it was definitely pre-Trudeau era.
Harper installed it personally himself. It was his private drinking fountain.
Oh, we got a selfie with it on Twitter.
Man, come on, you guys are. It gets even better. It gets even better.
Because they wanted the French word "pussy" on there.
No. I mean, I already made that joke about pussy, but to make up for this, they've written a sign that says "Pour activer la fountain de l'eau, voulez-vous approve sur le button." So they
What?
wrote a very to activate the water fountain, please push the button.
No, I know. I understood what you said, but I don't understand like why that needs to be like that.
That's going to
whole,
be a
like,
really big button.
paragraph.
Because now the fountain is bilingual. This is
Also,
how
they put that
rectify the
sign in
problem.
both languays.
I know. This is amazing.
It's like we didn't need the English because the English had the push.
Holy
But,
God! It's
yeah,
like a
so in
giant
English,
paragraph.
The word push will satisfy the instructions for a water fountain, but in French, you need 2 sentences to explain the operation.
Gonna build them smart over there, boy. Let me tell you. Unbelievable. It's just so crazy. You can't do anything but shake your head. It's just so ridiculous, but it's true.
No, this is
other.
100%. Some guy saw that and was like, "Hey,
Gotta pay
I can
it.
pay for this." Yeah.
Yeah.
Help! I'm being repressed.
Yeah. We've dashed their dreams of getting ball waxing money, so they've resorted to drinking fountain not being in French money. Fucking ridiculous.
Well, shall we talk about other embarrassments aside from Senate?
Sure.
One
The
embarrassment
Toronto
to the
Sun.
next.
Trudeau gives your cash to Hamas influenced group. And I mean, okay, so it's in the Sun, so like take that with a grain of salt. Trudeau government has announced this past week that it would send 25 million taxpayer dollars to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. So for the rest of the day, I'm going to be calling them UNRWA. UNRWA is an organization that provides relief and social services to the people of Palestine. You know, the people that are currently embroiled in this whole conflict with Israel.
Oh,
Hamas
that
is
old
Islam's-
chestnut.
Yeah, those guys. Hamas is an Islamic terrorist group that operates in Palestine. What is being contended is that UNRWA is primarily made up of people that support or are members of Hamas. This is all
Well,
not
what
great.
this-
I would.
This article is asserting is so we're giving this money to this UN organization. And all that they're saying, what the evidence that they're presenting here is that, according to some experts, they believe that this group, this UN organization, has been infiltrated by Hamas members and sympathizers. And then Hamas is obviously the terrorist group. So this is all about the speculation that this UN group has been infiltrated by people that are supporting Hamas.
So I have a few items that I would like to contend The first of which is the UN is the real terrorist.
Yeah.
Not this particular group, but like just the UN on the whole should not be abolished or interfere with other countries' businesses.
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, the UN in general is just one big terrorist group, but go on.
So, like, first and foremost, we should probably not be in the UN. The UN should be abolished, and we should stop giving the UN money in any form.
Yeah.
The second
That
part
I
of that
agree.
is,
Mhm.
the second part is, maybe we just shouldn't give 25 million taxpayer dollars to countries that are doing social services for the people of Palestine when we can't get clean water to all Canadians. You know, because Quebec is busy dumping untreated sewage into the seaway. I wonder how much clean water we could get for native Canadians if we redirected that 25 million taxpayer dollars to actual Canadians. Do you think that would clean up
Think
water
about how
on
many languages
reserves?
we'd have to translate the button into, though.
Oof, yeah, that'll end up costing us a lot of money if we don't get them all on there.
English and French.
Probably $25 million in signage alone.
Yeah. Especially if we have to
How
replace
hard is it to write pussy on a faucet?
And stainless steel brushed aluminum, that shit's expensive, bro.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, as an aside, I'm really enjoying replacing all the faucets in my house with Moen. That crap's kind of expensive, but man, do they work good. They're not embossed with any sort of French language, though, so might have to
No
talk to
Frenchies
Senator
allowed.
about getting some money.
Yeah, you got to get one of those electro pens and write that in.
No,
Yeah.
I like to just imagine that every time that I turn the tap on, I'm oppressing the people of Quebec.
I mean, you are if shit doesn't flow out of it.
But yeah, I mean, 25 million. I mean, any money we spend ever, honestly. I mean, as a conservative, just on these, you know, who is the group of the month that we would like to give away our money, taxpayer money to? I don't really care who it is, whether it's Hamas or, you know, some other poor African country. I don't care. Stop giving away our money. We need it here. So
Yeah, that's sort of my big take on this. Is like the UN should probably be abolished, and also we should not be part of it, and it should stop interfering with other countries. But also, let's just stop giving out money,
And the UN.
especially the UN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can you think of an organization that is, you know, raped and pillaged more than the UN?
or more corrupt.
The League of Nations.
I guess that'd be a top up, but either way, you know,
Equally shitty.
the UN should go.
Yeah, they are no longer wanted anywhere.
Let's we're gonna pivot. We're gonna start working our way towards the guns part of the show. The part of the show where we talk about guns, not the guns that we shot recently, but firearms in the news. First, I guess not first because we're not really in that segment. This is sort of the last of the news segment. But the on the CBC, British Columbia man arrested again for firearms trafficking after border officials intercept packages. A dumbass.
Come again on
Who's
the again
all-
part?
Yeah. So a dumbass is back in custody for firearms trafficking shortly after having been freed on parole following a similar offense.
So to get that one last run in, eh, bud?
Just one more job, then he's gonna turn his life around.
Yeah.
It's the big
There's
one,
always
babe.
just one last score, yeah.
Yeah, that one big last one, and then I'm set. Why isn't if drug trafficking and guns are such a big deal in this country? Why isn't this guy behind bars till his court date? Why is he even out roaming the streets?
Well, I don't want to necessarily throw all gun owners under the bus that CBS is thinking are doing something nefarious with importing of arms, because it's entirely possible that the alleged illegal firearms related items are not. But also, based on past behavior, this is the second time this dude's been arrested for this. I feel like he's probably not somebody who's just caught up in not having filled out the right form. I feel
Yeah,
like
it says
this is
he's already got a
somebody who's
lifetime
actually-
A lifetime
Yeah.
ban on firearms, prohibited ammunition, others convictions from
Yeah.
2001. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Not a good guy.
I know
feel
where
like
you're
this is
coming
not
from.
a good guy.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, but I feel like this guy probably has guilty written all over his face. Like, just throw him in the goddamn cell.
Yeah, we're probably not talking to a guy that like went to Cabela's in the U.S. and bought a mil-dot scope instead of some other weird non-military reticle and brought it across the border and didn't declare it kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's actually importing
Past
things
history.
he shouldn't. Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I guess good job for getting him border security.
Yeah.
Tax dollars actually working a little.
All right, let's do another one. This is gun news. More gun news. This is from Owen Sound. It's unfortunate Tim couldn't be here to tell us what one of his neighbors was up to, but a man who also was already prohibited from owning firearms. Yeah. Dave says it all.
It's almost like gun laws don't work.
A man who already has a weapons prohibition was found in possession of a replica pistol and 2 knives. He now faces charges of assault with a weapon, pointing a firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, and breach of a weapons prohibition.
No
He's also being
way.
charged with failing to comply with bail terms. So I should like to know, if he was out on bail, what his bail was for, and how much of that is going to be turned over to the Crown, and when.
And is he out on bail right now? That's my question right now.
Yes, bail again.
Yeah.
He was, well, again, I suppose that's the important thing. So he's already failed to comply with the bail terms that he had been on. So I would like to know if he's on bail again. And also, now that he's in breach, when he will be writing a check to the government for the breach of his bail terms. Like, all kinds of fuck this guy.
Like, and is he going to get max term this time and like go away and stop being a drain on society for a little while? Well, I mean, I guess in a different way, he's still going to be a drain on society, but because we have to feed him now, but at least he won't be endangering anybody.
I don't know. I have a much cheaper method for having him not endanger people. It's maybe not as
Rapid
popular.
onset lead poisoning.
Yes. Very rapid.
Like I said, why do we need to keep making new rules if we don't even enforce or follow the ones we have? We should probably start with that.
Because it feels good, man.
Yeah.
We're got to do something about all the gun
you know,
crime.
Yeah. By letting them back out on the
Maybe we
streets.
could recognize. Maybe we could recognize that the rules we have aren't being followed, and take that lesson and realize that criminals don't follow laws.
What? This is the first I'm hearing of this. You're telling me that these two previously convicted criminals that had weapons prohibitions and knew full well they were not allowed to be in the possession of replica or real firearms.
So once we agree that criminals aren't going to follow laws, can we then start looking at other methods? So like, if the law is not going to protect me, shouldn't I have the ability to protect myself?
One would think.
In a just society.
You're making a common mistake. You think you live in a serious country.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. This is not a serious country. On the topic of things that are not serious, let's talk about Quebec some more.
Indeed.
So I've got 2 articles about Quebec. This brings us, I guess, to our Red Nexit segment. So I'm going with Red Nexit now because it's still better than Wexit.
Yeah.
You're going to build an onomatopoeia or whatever it is when they combine the 2 words together.
Like block redneckwa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the best one, to be honest.
For sure.
I'm so partial to that one.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, it's definitely a throw to like the Bloc Québécois and how like
that's what makes it so good, right? Like, I mean,
exactly.
Ye Hotties was pretty funny, but like, Bloc Redneck is
it's perfect.
It's got a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the actual block and also the redneck block. We got 2 articles. One's in the Financial Post, and it's an op-ed piece, and we've got another one in CTV Montreal, and it's their hot take, I guess, their reaction to the letter. The bottom line is Quebec says they want to end equalization payments. Sort of.
What?
Yeah.
Sort
That's a
of.
lie.
I like that he says that they correct the record that Quebec does not receive equalization payments from Alberta. They receive them from the federal government.
Who receives them from Alberta?
Well, no
Who
shit.
gets it from Alberta?
Yeah, you really pulled a quick one on us there, Quebec. We didn't figure that one out.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. It's ridiculous. Who does Quebec think that they're fooling, though? Like, honestly, other than like their own constituents.
Everyone.
So-
That's who they think they're fooling. Everyone.
I think they think they're fooling everyone. So Quebec, I guess by the numbers, Quebec has 22% of the population, but they only contribute to 19% of the GDP. So Quebec alleges, or he's like the Minister of Finance for Quebec that wrote he's the Minister of Finance that wrote the op-ed piece in the Financial Post. I guess I should read the title of that so people can find it. It's in the show notes, of course. Everything we talk about is always in the show notes. But Quebec is a partner of Western Canada and wants it to prosper. No, Quebec is the recipient of money from Western Canada and wants its money.
He just wants that. Doesn't want the tap to shut off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the
when you get
just like the propane.
when you get robbed, it's a partnership between the
That's
two
right.
of you guys. The guy robbing you and you, the person being robbed.
Who worked hard for the money?
You can't have a robbery without both parties.
It's true.
It's true.
It's a good thing they've worked together.
You can,
No,
and you can't have a robbery
unfortunately,
without
we-
one side of the party actually doing work to earn said money to be robbed.
And them talking about how they're not going to need equalization payments, it's crazy. The system is set up in such a way that if you spend beyond beyond your means, then the government gives you money from other provinces. So there's no incentive for you to run a balanced budget or to run a surplus. If you run a surplus, whatever surplus you have gets taken from you. So you can't. So like it's like if you work at a corporation where it's like if you don't spend your budget, you lose it. And so it's like, well, I have to spend it then, or else they'll take it away. And this is essentially how our government is being run. Now, I would much rather see Alberta steal less money from its residents so that they don't have a surplus, rather than spend dumbly or spend frivolously. Just steal less money so that you're out of balance.
Well,
Make those
I
payments
think we
dry
talked
up.
about that a bit last week.
Yeah, we went over it. Essentially the same thing.
What?
Marty was saying the same thing.
Well, and I think that's the theme, right? Is there's got to be a better way for Alberta to do this. But the finance minister of Quebec is making the argument that on a per capita basis, Quebec is receiving less money than the other provinces, even though Quebec gets the most money in total. And what they'd like to do is raise the gross domestic product of Quebec by 2%, so that Quebec no longer receives equalization payments, because that will be a great day for Quebec and Canada.
And therefore
Wow.
the
Well,
world.
what?
How are they going to raise the GDP? I doubt they're going to work harder.
They want to invest in a bunch of things that are going to close the wealth gap. They're investing in education, like in some sort of vague, broad way. I don't understand.
Same way they're going to fix the environment. They're going to throw money at it with endless government projects that run in the red and get us nowhere.
Education. I don't think there's an education problem. All you got to do is show up to class. which I know they don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that makes sense. They're just going to magically make 2%
The
out of
same
thin
way
air
the
without
government
taking pay
makes
cuts.
jobs.
Invent positions, like the Minister of Middle Class.
And the minister of those wishing to join it.
Yeah. Can I be on your team?
I'd like to be part of the middle class someday. That'd be nice.
Yeah, you get your own minister.
So,
That makes
yeah.
twice as what you
Quebec
do.
is ridiculous, is what I got from this. Quebec is ridiculous, and I look forward to when Alberta becomes its own country.
Agreed.
The premise, I guess,
It's a bad thing for Canada, but it's a good thing for Alberta.
Or I
it
mean,
would be, and that kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, Marty. And I wanted to touch on that. Is the whole point of the equalization payments? I think is a not very well understood concept because we're busy learning about how to do analingus in third grade instead of like how to do your taxes or any useful skills that they teach in government indoctrination centers.
basic.
Well, I mean, they're kind of the same thing. They're both learning about how to get screwed.
Well played. So the thing with equalization payments is this is the one program at the federal level that Canadians, regardless of their province of residency, should expect to receive roughly equal services or roughly equal amounts of taxation. Because you shouldn't be having a province where everyone pays no taxes and gets like free childcare and free healthcare and free education and free post-secondary and free Obama phones and so on and so forth. And another province where you get none of that stuff and you also get taxed at 100% of your income. Like on the federal level, like that doesn't make sense. Why would you? It'll seriously mess with the Confederation, right? Because people will just leave the have-not provinces for the have provinces. Like the concept of the equalization is not a bad thing on the federal level, but the way that it's implemented, I think, is very piss poor. Like the fact that Quebec now has a $13 billion surplus because of their equalization payments.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why do they not have to give some of that money up to the other have-not provinces?
Yeah, or just not take it to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, that goes back to what Marty was saying about the whole zero-sum budgeting. If you don't spend it this year, you don't get it next year.
Yeah.
The government runs a zero-sum game.
Yep.
Now, shall we do another Western news article? Let's go to Politico. I don't think I've ever got to use them as a news source before. I also can't tell if they're being sarcastic. Bear with me. Trudeau taps star diplomat Freeland to tackle Wexit divisions. Allow me to read that again, but slowly. Trudeau taps star diplomat Freeland to tackle Wexit divisions. So everybody in podcast land should remember that Christina Freeland was a trade minister who broke down in tears during the United States-Canada-Mexico agreement, the new NAFTA 2.0 negotiations. She was the diplomat that started crying about the new NAFTA negotiations. She is now the deputy prime minister, and she's being tasked, rather. I was going to say she was being taxed. I wish we were taxing her.
Yeah, right.
She's being tasked with tackling the upset in Western Canada following this election.
Well, see you later, Alberta.
Okay, bye.
Have a good time. As if she's going to get anything done. The more female version of Trudeau, I don't know how she's going to get anything accomplished.
I don't think she's going to get anything accomplished, to be perfectly honest with you.
No.
No.
She's going
Hopefully
to cry.
the government as a whole doesn't get anything accomplished.
No, but I mean, like, she's still working on USMCA. USMCA has not been implemented. It hasn't even been fully negotiated with the other two countries. She's.
My
I think
theory
this
is
a joke.
this. I think that this has all been done. This whole like making her like deputy prime minister and that. I think this is an agreement that was made to not kick him out as leader of the party.
Maybe, but could they not have picked, like, literally anybody else?
But what's the set? What's the end? What's the end game on
the
this?
next leader? So I still think Barty Shager, but I mean, is going to be the next leader of the Liberal Party. But I think the general consensus is Krista Freeland is the heir to the Liberal throne, and I suspect that there was going up into this most recent election, there was probably a lot of concern about the whole blackface and SNC, and there was probably
Possible sleeping with a minor.
possibly sleeping with a minor. There was allegedly, there was probably a lot of dissent within the Liberal Party about how the previous 4 years have gone, and I suspect that as an agreement was struck, so that okay, well, you can stay because they didn't want to, swap leaders that close to the election, but that she would be appointed deputy leader and would sort of likely assume the role of running the party in the meantime. That's my guess as to what's happened here.
Think she's going to be the puppeteer in the background?
Yeah.
Perfectly plausible. Like I said, I'm surprised. It makes sense. Like, if anything, they might even just fully release whatever happened with the minor, and he might just get kicked out, and she just takes over like 100%. Who knows?
Yep.
They might give it a year to cool off, and then it'll all just go through.
Well, I mean, I guess that would be good news. Trudeau's dream of another female prime minister would be reached. I mean, it wouldn't be his daughter, but
no. His dream of the first female prime minister.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I
the other one
Kim
didn't
Campbell.
count. Yeah, the other one didn't count.
Well, I mean, did she though?
You were like prime minister for like what, 3 months or something?
I don't know if it was that short, but yeah, it was very short.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it was that short, but it was short.
Yeah, really short.
Still counts.
Speaking of,
Yeah, I mean, it still counts. Yeah, in my opinion.
yeah, no, 100% it still counts. She was the prime minister, and she identified as a boy or a girl-bodied person.
Yeah,
Girl-bodied.
Well, you can't assume their gender. It's the current year plus 5.
yeah.
+5. No, it sounds legit.
All right, last article for.
Do we have mandate letters for all these people yet, or no?
No, I'm still waiting on all the mandate letters to come out. I have not seen them all.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Hopefully before the 7th.
No, I'm fine with them not sending out any mandate letters because if they don't know what to do, then they just can't do anything, and that's fine with me.
Oh, it's not like they're actually ever successful in their jobs.
Well, yeah.
No,
If they were successful in their jobs, they wouldn't be in government.
it's true. I mean, shit, the minister of middle class can't even define what the middle class is, other than to say that I guess you've got kids in hockey or some nonsense like that.
Yeah, you have a bunch of bully white kids in hockey, so you must be middle class.
Like, Climate Barbie is now infrastructure.
I thought they kicked her out.
Nope.
She still got a
Climate
job.
Change Barbie is the Minister of Infrastructure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she can reduce the infrastructure, therefore reducing cars on the road and help the environment that way.
That won't be hard.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, with the exception of Morneau, it was basically just a shuffle. It's a lot of the same people that we've seen before. Morneau remains finance minister.
Shocking.
Yeah, because he's so good with those numbers, that's for sure.
Well, hey, if your wife had millions of McCain's dollars, you'd be good at potatoes too.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really hard to like embezzle money and shift everything around between your different shell corporations if you're not the finance minister.
It's true.
Yeah, if you're not an insider, how are you going to do insider trading? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
It's not rocket appliances
basic
here.
Mathematics. Let's go on to our last one. This is another person who probably shouldn't be in charge of a government, although this is at the municipal level.
Another
It's on
punchable
the
face.
Western Standard. Nenshi calls Wexit movement idiotic. So this is the Calgary mayor. You know, Calgary, the city in Alberta.
Isn't it the city that everybody in Alberta hates?
I don't know. Edmonton's pretty shitty too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can confirm was just there.
I mean, it's just like Toronto. Everybody hates everybody not from Toronto hates everybody in Toronto.
It's cities.
Yeah, I
are
mean,
run
Marty's
shitty
right. It's
people.
cities.
It's where the cucks dwell. I mean, they go hand in hand.
So
So are we gonna talk about this guy and the things that he said? So for me,
I don't know. City, it's kind
for
of
me, I
covers
think that
it.
he's really missing the mark in that. So like he talks to Trudeau and he's calling on Trudeau to help the people in the West. People in the West don't want help from the government. People in the West want the government to get out of the damn way.
Motherfucker.
Marty.
Motherfuckeringly.
Marty.
Is it all fucked again?
Yeah,
Oh, there you
there we go. Now you're back. The people in the West need to get out of the way, and then we kind of lost you there.
I think that pretty
Or-
much exactly sums
or
it up.
the government-
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
they want. They want
Yeah.
them to help by getting the fuck out of their way.
And stop stealing all their
Yes.
fucking money.
Right. They're
Yeah.
not looking for handouts from the Trudeau government. They want the Trudeau government to just get the fuck out of the way. They want the government to get out of the way so they can go to their jobs.
Yeah, and stop taking their money.
Yeah, they just
Yeah,
want
it's
to
the
make more
government-
money.
It's the government's involvement that's caused them to lose their jobs in the first place.
100%.
I mean, look at poor Ralph Goodale. I mean, the Liberal government caused him to lose his job.
Yeah.
Oh, good ale. Good riddance.
All right, let's jump into some rapid fire feedback.
Rapido.
We've got an email this week from Jer. The subject is, thanks for the podcast.
You're welcome.
I listened to your latest episode, number 203. The McLean's article really stood out to me. I'm not an alt-right extremist. Exactly what an alt-right extremist would say, Jer.
Yeah.
I'm not an alt-right extremist. I do not condone hate towards any group of people, or any people, group, creed, or religion. I'm not sure if that's the whiskey or if the punctuation is just not awesome.
Except for
I've
Quebec.
never given
Yeah. Fuck Quebec.
fuck Quebec. Good fishing though.
Yeah. Great fishing in Quebec.
I have never given money to a firearms advocacy group. After hearing about and reading the McLean's article of how my hobby and pastime is being framed in mainstream media as something that needs to be done, I want to say thanks from a new CCFR member. I work full time, and if someone or some organization can speak up for me in Ottawa whilst I earn a living, great. Your show does a great job in speaking truth to power, and I hope your audience and podcast subscribers continue to grow. Cheers, Jer.
Thanks, Jer.
Thanks, Jer. Two things. So, congratulations on your new Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights membership. Well done. I think, Gavin, you're a field officer.
Yep.
Everybody else in the panel is a member.
100%.
So, yeah, you're in not terrible company, although I'm not sure if I can get past this whole alt-right thing, bud.
Yeah. I mean,
Kind of out of left field there. Sorry, right field.
I'm kidding about the alt-right thing, of course. Good
Yeah.
for you on giving money to the CCFR. So we have a registered lobbyist in Parliament trying their best to educate the government on the concerns of almost a tenth of the population, 2.5 million gun owners in this country.
And also all the cucks in Toronto and telling them where to go. Currently.
Yeah.
Well, this is an important thing. That in itself should be a full-time job, and it should
Yeah.
probably be my job. So please donate to me at my GoFundMe, where I go and tell cucks in Toronto what I think about them.
I would pay for that if you filmed it.
Yeah, if you started a YouTube channel, I would be your first subscriber. Hundo P.
The only thing from Jared's email I'm not sure about is the whole speaking truth to power thing. I know what that means, and I don't think I've ever heard it in the frame of
Us drunkenly talking about shit on the internet.
yes, but we are also going to be framed as those extreme alt-right, racist, Nazi, various sort of phobic-free bigots because we're predominantly boy-bodied people who identify as cisgendered white men.
Who work for a living.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that we're really speaking truth to power. Mostly we're just bitching about the government on the internet.
Because they steal all our goddamn money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that we're not speaking the truth. It's just that there's a lot of people that won't view it as such.
And also sometimes we're drunk and we get the facts wrong. Referenced last week as an example. Apparently,
Yeah.
I don't know where the RCMP are required to police. Whatever. I was drinking and I am not a news commentator. This is an entertainment program.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you get called out on last week?
Oh, I said the RCMP Police Northern Ontario. That's the OPP.
Same
Oh,
difference.
yeah. Well, whatever. Whatever.
Same
Every
difference.
other
Cowboys,
northern part of Canada is
Cowboys.
RCMP. Get over it.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
But thank you for
We
listening.
occasionally
and-
make some
No,
errors.
so, in general, join the CCFR if you're not a member. If you're
Yeah,
not a member
yeah.
and you have firearms or you believe in the rights of individuals, you should be a member of the CCFR. Take a look
if
at some
you
of the other
believe in having the
organizations as
ability to
well.
own property, you should be a
Yeah.
member of the CFR.
Yeah,
I
the
like
other-
owning
Take a look at the other
property.
organizations as well.
Yeah.
Being a member of at least one is good. Being a member at multiple is probably better.
CCFR one is though is
Yeah.
the most active though where we need them to be.
Even that other organization that Marty has had to rejoin.
As for the growing the podcast, please tell your friends and remember to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. Also, the podcast.
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, we're going to keep putting it on YouTube until YouTube takes it down. They've already demonetized it, but I mean, it doesn't cost us anything to put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
Then we'll just have to find something else.
bit shoot.
Wait, we got demonetized?
Yeah.
For
Oh,
what?
years ago.
long time ago.
Years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah. I mean, you call somebody a cunt one time.
They pretty much
I
demonetized
think
every
we should-
conservative channel probably 2 years ago.
Can't you challenge that though? When just contact YouTube and be like, you took
Yeah,
this
but-
down because I called them a cunt. But
all they'd have to
here's
do, though,
the
is pull
evidence
up-
that they are a cunt.
Fair. But all they would probably
Please
have to do
reverse your decision.
is pull up any episode with our drunk American friend, and then they would just shut the whole channel down.
Well, I'm
Now
going
you
to
get
keep
spicy
putting
when
stuff
it's
on
drunk.
YouTube until YouTube won't let me put stuff there anymore. It's like the Facebook. I mean, like, I get that we're the product. We're not the audience. Like the big tech is taking my personal data and reselling it for advertising purposes. That's how the business model works. I get that. I accept this. I'm okay with it. I'm using it for my own purposes for as long as I can. It doesn't cost us anything to put the videos on YouTube. Bandwidth is expensive. YouTube is free. YouTube reaches a large number of people. Everybody knows
Yeah.
how to get onto YouTube.
Yeah.
It's
We're-
not like
we're
BitChute
using them.
where it's-
As much as
and
they're
that's why
using
we'd like
us.
to thank today's show sponsor, Empen Rope.
Yeah. It will save the world.
Today's episode is brought to you by the letter C for cock.
And cunt.
Man, there's so many good possibilities for show titles. I'm like furiously typing notes here. I think that's everything. Let's do the outro before I have to go pour myself another glass. Dave, where can we find you? Do you have the internet personalities?
I do. Follow me on the IGs at Diesel6223. Give me a follow and a like and say what's up.
All right, Marty, where can everybody find the show?
CanadianPatriotPodcast.com or the other social medias that we mentioned earlier in the show.
All right, Gavin, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on the Instagrams at Urbex_GTA, or you can find Andrew and I in person on Friday at CFB Trenton.
Have fun,
doing
guys.
some shit.
Forgot that was
Yeah,
this weekend. Or this week.
yeah. Ragnarok Tactical is exhibiting and sponsoring a charity event at CFB Trenton at 8 Wing. They're doing a fundraiser for their community, and they were kind enough to invite us, so we'll be there. We're going to try and shoot some pistols and beat the Air Force team.
Pew pew. Good luck, guys.
Thanks.
Well, should be okay. I mean, we have to shoot their high powers, but I mean, we'll see how we do.
Oh, you have to shoot theirs.
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting.
It's a high power match, and they provide the high power.
pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful.
Well, if I shoot like shit, at least I have an excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I'd like the high power with sights that doesn't rattle, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times. You can find me at ragnaroktactical.ca if you need first aid supplies, tourniquets, bandages, the finest made in America, high-speed gear Inc. tacos. Every day can be Taco Tuesday. And if you've listened to our drunken ramblings this long, you should definitely use the discount code Patriot at checkout. That will save you some money. $10 flat rate shipping anywhere in Canada on anything forever, at least until the shipping rates go up. Who is breathing into their microphone?
That was me yawning.
Well, pardon me. I'm going to let Gavin go to bed. I have to apologize to Rod Galtaka. We were expecting Ian to be able to join us for the full show, so we told Rod to forget about coming on tonight.
Sorry, Rod.
Unfortunately, Ian had internet problems at his secure off-grid location.
Yeah, built that Faraday cage a little too well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, at least we know he'll be safe when the bomb goes off. For all of our listeners in podcast land, I would like to remind you that you are the true North, strong and free.